Hello, I am Trevor Stafford.
I'm Matthew Stranzl. Today, we're here to discuss the innovation of the television and its impact on society, past and present. We conducted an interview with an industry expert as well as local citizens on how television has impacted their lives. Without further ado, let's see what these local citizens had to say. I have to ask you a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Do you and your family own a television set? Like, do you have one in your house?
Yeah, we do.
How many do you have in your house?
2.
Alright. How many times a week do you watch television?
I don't know, just like every night, usually.
Alright, so like probably like 21 times a week.
21?
Hey there, Maddie. Can I ask you a few questions?
Yeah, sure.
Do you or your family own a television?
Yes, I do, and so does my family.
How does it impact your life?
You know, it's very fun watching TV. It brings me great pleasure, and it brings a lot of dopamine to my brain.
Hey Kyle, how's it going?
Good.
So I have to ask you a couple questions.
Yes.
How often do you watch TV?
Oh wait, 5 times a week. Oh, 2
Okay.
times. It makes me want to do bad things.
It's not so good.
You know, TV can make you cool or not cool. So if you're not cool, you're a loser, you know?
In which ways does it impact your social life?
It makes me not want to hang out with my friends.
Do you even have any of those?
Maybe.
Do you think you could live without TV?
No.
As evident in the interviews, the television has made a very substantial impact on the world we interact with today. While the technology behind the television has existed for over a century, it only invaded mainstream America in about the 1950s. Since then, the technology has grown exponentially and its influence will only continue to grow. Now, Trevor and I are going to delve in-depth into the history of television. Right, Trevor?
Yeah, you was right.
Depending on who you are, you may either love or loathe television. It's something we've been accustomed to since birth, and although we have taken it for granted, we must recognize the inventors, innovators, and pioneers behind the technology. The first major television stepping stone occurred in 1862 when the pentelegraph was invented. The pentelegraph is a device that transmits images through wire. 22 years later, Paul Nipkow, a German inventor, developed a system that could transmit multiple images via wires. This system utilized rotating mechanical discs and was the first iteration in many mechanical television systems that succeeded. In 1927, the first electrical television system was developed by Philip Taylor. Electrical television systems increased portability and did away with all the rotating discs. A year later, the first television station was created, an independent network known as W3XK. Soon, CBS, the first major network, was established. A research unit funded by CBS created the first color television in 1940, and 10 years later, the Federal Communications Commission authorized that as a national standard, but soon RCA Corporation developed a system that replaced theirs. Since then, many advancements have been made, such as the introduction of cable television broadcasting in 1948 and satellite television in 1976, respectively. Other advancements include the creation of the flat-screen monitor, which dates back to 1964, and the DVR in 1999. Hi Jane, we hear you currently work in the television broadcasting industry, and we want to ask you a couple of questions. So the first question is, what station did you work for, and when did this station first go on?
The first station I worked for is in Florida, as an ABC affiliate, and then I went to Washington, D.C., and I worked for Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, the White House, and National News.
What was your role at this station?
My primary role was as a news journalist. I also shot all my footage, edited all my footage, and anchored the weekend news.
How do you think that television is impacting news and politics?
Tremendously. When I first started out, there were only 3 major broadcast networks: ABC, CBS, NBC. CNN came in later. They pretty much controlled what we saw, what we heard. The major newspapers did the same.
What about society in general?
Same thing. I feel like that has a huge impact on society and how we form opinions. And I think it's imperative for people not only get their news from a variety of sources and not just rely on broadcast or print. Just keep reading.
Do you think that television has had a positive or negative impact?
I think generally positive. We've seen negative that we saw with the Ferguson riots, where I think television had a huge impact and saying come out and riot and let's do that, so that's a negative. But generally I think it's a very positive thing because it allows us an opportunity to learn about the world without a huge expense, as long as the stations and the programs are geared that way. Some of the other programs are not so healthy.
Do you have any childhood memories pertaining to television?
Yes, you guys probably won't remember this, but our family used to sit around a black and white television on Sunday night. It was tradition because television was relatively new in our family. We would watch the Ed Sullivan show, and that kind of became the warm feeling. But it wasn't news-oriented, it was a variety show.
Okay, so we have one last question for you, Ernest. In retrospect, do you think that television would become what it is today?
No, I never saw the explosiveness of the internet and how the internet is opening up news sources to everyone, to the masses. Anyone can have a voice now, which I think is fantastic. But also dilutes, you get so much messages and so much news coming from different sources that sometimes that has a negative.
Okay, thanks for that, Ruby.
Thank you.
Thank you.